Hi team, it's Melissa from Melissa vs Fibromyalgia here, and I am doing my week 19 update. It's been a ginormous week. So much has been happening, and I have waited to do this update so that I could give you the results of our gender scan, and we are a boy mama. We are having our third baby boy. He is perfect. So sweet. For the first time, he kicked in such a way that not only did I physically feel it on the outside, but the sonographer also felt it, which is pretty cool because with the anterior placenta, I have not felt so many movements, and of course I felt it a bit later. But I have felt my little regular jabbings for the last kind of week now. They've been more regular, and even in the last couple of days, even more regular again. Actually, we're heading very fast to week 20, so I've already kind of basically completed week 19. So the end of this week was the gender scan, which was excessively exciting, especially because the beginning of the week wasn't going so well for me. On Monday, I had to walk to work as usual. For when we have late meetings, I have to walk a bit further and park in a different place. And on the way into work, I was nearly crying because my hip felt like it wasn't right. Like maybe it had tilted out again, and it was so painful, and sitting in the meeting was painful, and walking back to the car actually was so painful that I basically cried the whole way home. So that wasn't very fun, and I was looking forward to seeing the hospital physio again on Tuesday morning, but she had to change the appointment because something came up, so that was a little bit disappointing. But luckily we are in the second week of working from home on a Tuesday, and that actually made such a difference. I was in a lot less pain. I think that's just because you can naturally take better breaks and sit nicely with your heat pack, and all of those mechanisms to manage pain are just right there, and it's not quite so difficult to enact them. And also I didn't have to go walking very far. I didn't have to, even when I get to park on site at work, by the time you leave the parking building and walk all the way across the building, I've actually done quite a bit of walking. And it doesn't seem like very much until every step is very painful. So Tuesday was nicer, and I had a lot less pain that day, which was nice because Monday was a lot of pain. And then Wednesday I saw the hospital physio. Now generally here the hospital physios don't like to be hands-on, and they don't like to see you too many times, but this physio has decided because my pelvis is asymmetrical, it's basically not staying in place, the hip keeps coming back out again, so she's continuing to see me. We put on a firmer hip support belt and talked about the potential of going to crutches next, and I was asking kind of in the scheme of things, talking severity, and she said really once you're talking mobility aids, you're at the severe end of the scale, and the only place really to go after that is the hardcore medicine. And you have to really start to decide if going to work is worth all that. Like if I stay home, I'm not in so much pain and don't have as much money, but if I go to work, I'm probably going to have to be on medicine to do it, and it just, yeah, it doesn't seem like a very fun or easy choice to have to make. But as we hit week 20, then there's only 20 weeks to go approximately until the baby's due, and 15 weeks to go that I need to get through work, and I am going to put in to reduce to 3 days a week to see if that helps. But there's a lot going on, you know, and a lot to think about, and the SPD being flared up this early is a big issue, and I have to remember the fact that I do have fibromyalgia. My neck is starting to flare up a little bit. I'm still very grateful that I'm better off than I have been before, that my neck is still not quite as bad as it was before, that I'm still sleeping better even though I'm peeing every 2 or 3 hours. I'm still thankful. But by the time we get to the point where I've put on 10 kilograms and the SPD is worse, that kind of triggers that cycle of fatigue. So the more my SPD hurts, the more tired I am, obviously, because it is very tiring to be in a lot of pain. So you do have to expect that after 2 quite difficult third trimesters, this one might not be as easy as I hope. So you do have to think ahead, and it is really hard to try and make plans, really. So I have to try and flexibly plan ahead and not get too committed to any outcome. But I guess you'll all know that if you're facing pregnancy with fibromyalgia, it's such an unknown. No one can tell you. The research can't tell you whether it will be better or worse, or how it will even progress, you know, from beginning to end. So that's just one of those things we live with. I guess maybe now might be a good time to show you this growing bump that I have. It's so cute. I'm really enjoying it. So here is baby. He is sitting along here, just below my belly button, and the head was on this side at the scan, which is very exciting. It's I don't know, it's just really exciting once you see Bubby in the scan and you can start talking about names, and you can give him a human pronoun, you know, instead of it or the baby, it's a he or a little brother. I think Noah was a bit disappointed that it was a boy, and actually I had a sense that it was a boy. So on the one hand, I'm really sad that I don't get a little girl because I've always wanted one. This baby, I'm not sad about it being a boy. I don't mind really. I'm just so happy he's healthy. So it is a really interesting, complex emotion to be thinking through and dealing with. But yeah, the potty shot was one of the first shots she got, and it was really obvious that he's a little boy. But everything's healthy. The back is healthy, the head, all the things that they have to check. So it was really cool, and it was really cool that I got to share it with everybody. So my husband and both of my sons were there. So now we just have to agree on names. Unfortunately, Noah and I had a short list, and my husband has vetoed every name on that list, and then we've thrown about 30 other names at him, and he doesn't seem to like any. So this baby will remain unnamed for a little bit longer. So the one tip I've picked up this week that has been really great. So when you have symphysis pubis disorder, that's really the joints, right? But when you have fibromyalgia and when you have joint issues, the muscles and tendons kind of get in on the party. So one thing I've noticed is that my trigger points in my glutes and legs have been really playing up, and they have been part of the pain. So I have been using my foam roller. You can use a tennis ball or trigger point massager, whatever you like, but basically I use this against the wall and roll my back up and down and turn to the side, and you can basically, I used it all on my whole back, middle back, upper back, lower back, and legs and glutes, and it was really nice. I'm struggling to stretch my glutes at all because of the pain in my pelvis, so that was really nice. So that's a really great tip, and if you want a recommendation for a foam roller, I'll put one in the comments below for you. Anything natural that can help manage the pain is always good, right? So as usual, I've been chatting through all these things with people in my group, in the Pregnancy and Fibromyalgia Facebook group. Please do come along and join if you really need to be talking about pregnancy and fibromyalgia, or trying to conceive, or early parenting. It's just so great. Like I was able to say, so with the fibromyalgia and the SPD, you know, when did you guys plan to go off maternity leave, or when did you go back again? That wasn't me, someone else asked that question, but it's all just such useful knowledge. You know, we've got 164 amazing women contributing to conversation, and it's really helping because there is such a knowledge gap, and I've done my best. I've got all my blog posts and my articles and the PDFs and the printables and my book and my course, and it would seem like I have everything sorted, but I really don't. You can't. Pregnancy is a big thing, and you kind of find something new every time that's different for you, and a big issue. Like this time I'm really thinking about labor and how that's going to go, given I've had 2 rough times, because there's no guarantee if it'll be rougher or easier. So that's a big preoccupation for me, but there's no research and no information around to tell us whether labor would be better or worse because of the fibro. So it's all unknown, so it's nice to do it together. So do come along and join the group, and do have a look at my book, Pregnancy and Fibromyalgia. It is a really great introduction. It's kind of everything I've ever written